For the makers who lead, success isn't measured in promises. It's measured in results. At Rockwell Automation, our 24,000 employees across the globe focus every day on delivering business results for our customers. Because with every result achieved, we realize the promise of expanding human possibilities. That's why we're Rockwell. Our customers make products and deliver solutions that touch all of our lives. And they partner with us to realize measurable, consistent, and profitable business outcomes, delivering the real results they and their customers depend on. The people of Rockwell and our vast production technology portfolio make a real difference in industrial production quality, speed, and efficiency, making a difference in ramping up adequate supplies of life-saving vaccines, making a difference by helping deliver vehicles that are affordable, efficient, and safe. Making a difference by engineering sustainability into every system and solution we deliver. Because at Rockwell, we believe better is possible. And the results we deliver add value for our customers every day, in every industry we serve. Our systems connect your company end-to-end with data-fueled insights, improving the decisions that deliver results and expanding human possibilities. Rockwell Automation. Results achieved.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Corinne Pellish with Rockwell Automation, and I'm so glad to welcome all of you to today's conversation on the future of industry leadership. I'm currently a World Economic Forum Fellow focused on building a more sustainable, people-powered manufacturing ecosystem. We're here to spotlight the new generation of industry leaders. You may hear it called NGIL, which is a global accelerator program from the World Economic Forum built in collaboration with Rockwell Automation. NGIL brings together rising leaders from across manufacturing and supply chain, not just to talk about transformation, but to really build it together. And if we really want to talk about transforming industry, we must first start with how we want to develop its leaders. Let's be honest, the challenges in front of us are not simple. Whether it's Scope 3 decarbonization, digital integration, workforce disruption, or supply chain resilience, none of these are going to be solved by one function, one company, or even one sector. It takes all of us. That's why NGIL creates a different kind of space, one that cuts across industries, geographies, and even seniority levels, to grow leaders who can navigate complexity, drive transformation, and build trust across the value chain. So what even makes this program special? Why even dive into something like the new generation of industry leaders? Well, it's not just leadership in theory, it's applied impact. Each participant works on a capstone project, which is a real-world solution addressing some of industry's biggest challenges. And some of the projects this year focused on things like circular packaging, energy efficiency, and data interoperability. These projects went beyond purely the hypothetical. They're really rooted in use cases from these organizations, real companies with real ambition. The goal here is to stretch the thinking, pressure test ideas across functions, and model the kind of collaboration that our future demands. And today, I'm joined by two standout leaders from this year's cohort. Vicki Bruce, Global Capability Manager of Cybersecurity Services at Rockwell Automation, whose team's project tackled workforce transformation head-on, and Jason Mannion, Market Strategy Manager at Rockwell, whose bold work on circular packaging earned him the Crowd Favorite Award. I'll ask each of them to briefly introduce themselves and their projects, and then we'll dive into some lessons, reflections, and what comes next. Vicki, I'll start with you for a quick introduction.
Of course. Thank you very much. Really appreciate being invited to participate today and excited to talk a little bit about NGIL experiences and capstone project as well. So as you mentioned, I work in our cybersecurity services organization where we create solutions and services for manufacturers around the world. My project was called The Greenification of the Shop Floor Workforce. And we had a team of 4 of us who helped realize this and bring it to life, really focusing on as the workforce is changing in different manufacturing sectors, how can we talk more to the hearts and minds of the new generation that's joining the workforce?
Wonderful. Thanks, Vicki. And Jason?
Hi, everyone. Appreciate you having me on today and happy to talk about the NGIL program. For the past 6 months, it's been exhilarating where Vicki and I have been able to travel around the world to meet our counterparts in other industries and other companies. So currently I am manager of market strategy here at Rockwell, working on the investor relations team where I'm able to work with our executive C-suite individuals to update them on competitive landscape, market analysis, and really work on the business operations behind the curtain. Prior to that, I was global program manager for sustainability services, where we were to lead a dashboard that quantifies the environmental impact of remanufacture and repair. And our project here at the NGIL took that a step further by not only including repair metrics, but also continuing that to recycling and end of life. So it's really important for businesses to think about how their products end up in waste streams and recycling streams once a consumer is done with them. And it's also important to think about how you can commercialize those opportunities. Sustainability isn't just a cost sink. It doesn't have to be a compliance checkbox. It can be a revenue generator. And for me, my role here at Rockwell now, I have the ability to look at those business impacts and translate them to our senior executive leadership teams.
Thank you, Jason. Do you mind us hopping right into some questions for you, and then Vicki will move over to some of your thoughts as well. So, Jason, you mentioned your previous role and then moving into NGIL and just really this focus on circularity. Do you mind speaking a bit to what drew you to this challenge?
Manufacturing and supply chains are moving at a rapid pace. No longer are they boring operational pieces of an organization. Technology, people, sustainability is influencing tomorrow's decisions a lot quicker than anybody had ever anticipated. So when you think about, again, our old previous linear economic models of take, make, waste, we really need to understand the limited resources that companies face and how everybody's vying for these resources in the open market. So how can you become better at circularity? How can you take a product that is built, used, and incorporate it back into circular economic models? And that's the future of advanced manufacturing. How can you recapture those resources for ongoing operations? How can you prolong the life of assets for customers? So that's really the challenge, and it stemmed from our customers. Quite honestly, our customers came to us asking, hey, this is your product. What can we do with it at end of life? And we realized it was our responsibility to look at how we could help them in that journey and help mitigate those products going into waste streams. So that's really where we focused on the project.
Keeping up with that same vein of thought, Vicki, your capstone project was focused on really this greenification of the shop floor. What sparked that idea for you?
Yeah. So we were, I think, like talking over lunch one time, me and a few other folks, and we were just saying, like, what are some of the challenges that we're seeing, each of us? And we knew we had to come up with a capstone at some point. So we're like, yeah, let's see if we can kind of get the ball rolling here. And it came up over and over about the workforce challenges. So my day job is in cybersecurity. I talk about workforce all the time, augmenting workforce, how to find talent, grow and attract talent. So hearing people who are responsible for actual sites talking about something similarly, and knowing at the same time that there's an opportunity to take jobs and turn them into green jobs. In manufacturing, that's kind of what got the whole ball rolling. So we really wanted to focus on how can we help manufacturers who are having trouble with, I'll say, people turnover, or running into situations where they don't have the talent that they're really looking for, because a lot of times we see that as Gen Z is entering the workforce, what motivates them is a little bit differently. So they, like I had said, want to be talked to in a way that motivates their heart, that motivates their mind. In their heart, they want to have a sense of purpose. I mean, I think we all do. But also, they want to be like stimulated and be able to do things where they can make decisions, maybe use technology. So how can we take that and say that if there are roles on the shop floor that are coming open, how do we turn those into green jobs? Meaning now they have an element of sustainability tied into them. We're empowering people to make decisions that actually affect the goals of a company. So our project was really around building a framework and having a playbook available to companies to use. So we want to have use cases, we want to have conversation guides, career planning, metrics, and not just metrics around employee engagement, but metrics also around driving business goals. So all of that came together so that our project is the greenification of the shop floor workforce playbook.
Love it. Both of your experiences are so different, and both of your projects are so different, yet intertwined in that people centered approach with sustainability and technology in mind. So, thank you both for sharing that. Quick question. What type of advice would you both offer a company considering a program like NGIL? Jason, I will start with you.
Do it. Please do it. It was really a breath of fresh air, not only to myself, but my team, my organization, the company as a whole. Rockwell Automation is an industrial automation company, and this was really an injection of new ideas, fresh ideas, outside perspective, shared challenges among colleagues in industry. So rather than thinking within our own four walls, we were able to get some outside perspective and workshop those ideas. It was really phenomenal to meet people from all walks of life, different backgrounds, different experiences, who were able to collaborate with, to build upon your idea, to share ideas, to poke holes in your ideas. It was really a great 6 months to go heads down into the project and think of a capstone at how you could add value add to the company and grow revenue through your ideas. And we were able to get exposure to senior leader executives here at Rockwell and elsewhere. So you have the opportunity to get that visibility. But please, absolutely do it. It only, again, contributes to your growth as a company and your employees' growths.
And Vicki.
Yes, wholeheartedly agree. There's two elements I think that came out of the program that I wasn't expecting as much of. So, of course, I had talked with you, Corinne, and with others, and I was like, okay, this is going to be so great. I'm going to learn all these cool things. I'm going to get a chance to meet like people from around the globe. And what came out of it, even more than I was expecting, was transformation. So whether it is business transformation or people transformation, organization, every company is going through transformation. If an organization is going through this and they want to be plugged into a think tank, this is an excellent way to do that. So many of our conversations that we had were around that. And I know, like, coming into it, I was like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like the big thing I have going on. And I wonder if other people feel the same way. And it's like, yeah, in some cases, it was like, yeah, I did. And I got past that. And here's how I overcame that barrier. Perfect. Exactly what I could use. And then the other piece too is innovation. So we talked a lot about innovation, and it isn't just around the technology piece. It isn't just around AI, although that is definitely a theme that we had over and over. But innovation, even in like the ways that we're thinking, the ways that we're talking about like the goals we're trying to achieve, our business goals and objectives, innovation around really pulling different companies together, and innovation, of course, around hitting sustainability goals and what can be done. So those two elements went like way above and beyond what I was expecting in the program, but things that help me out all the time. And it's really been, I think, like a jumpstart or a springboard to huge projects I have on my plate right now.
Wow, thank you both. Now, as we think about distilling this excitement in this program down into one single phrase, I'm curious to each of you what that would be. What really defined your NGIL experience if you had to articulate that? And Vicki, I'll start with you.
Of course. So I would say global collaboration and innovation, tackling tough problems, because it really was about people coming together. We had the opportunity to do so in person, and some of the most interesting conversations I think that were had were like over a cup of coffee during a networking break, or coming in early. Everyone came in early. Like we were all so excited that no one was sneaking in at the last minute. We all wanted to come see each other and talk about the things we had going on. But it really was helpful to come together as a group. And I think the people is what made it so fantastic.
One phrase that sums up my NGIL experience is community. This had come up during one of our sessions in Geneva with a guest speaker. A similar question was asked. He was a professor at a local university, and his response was community. Community brings us together. When I flew into Geneva, and I'm sure Vicki probably felt the same, you think your problems are specific to you and your company and your industry. But when you get into a room with these people, you start to recognize their shared problems, their shared challenges. And when there's pressure from the outside world, we all are up against that. So how can we work together and put our minds together and solve those challenges? And as much as I'd like to think we're able to do that solo, you really have to have you have to let your walls down and let other people in to help you solve these problems. And it was a challenge with some competitors in the room, but you have to get through that and recognize what you can share and you can't share. And at the end of the day, the community is what makes the group thrive.
Yeah, and just a quick note, Jason, because you mentioned competitors in the room. One of like the traditional Rockwell automation competitors was part of my group for the capstone project. So it was definitely, I'll say, like boundaryless in a way that we came together, really just, something that will help all of manufacturing or something that will go way beyond just our little scope of the world. So I thought that that was something that was a really exciting part to hear about, and also to be able to work with someone so closely who I never would have otherwise. But that was another like big perk of the program for me.
That's such great insight, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about the forum and the space that it creates and holds for these non-competitive level of conversations. So great insights from both of you. Now, to the audience, if you're listening and thinking, wow, just listening to Vicki and Jason go back and forth about these projects and thinking big and building this community and tackling some of these large global challenges and looking for a space to think bigger, collaborate boldly, and act with purpose, you're not alone, right? Nominations are open right now for the next cohort. New Generation of Industry Leaders 2026 will be kicking off next year. We'll make sure that the link is actually added in the chat so you can nominate if you are interested in participating yourself. One thing to keep in mind is this is all about building a future-ready, values-led, and resilient industrial world together. So to Vicki's point, it's this unbounded community. And to Jason's point about stress testing with anyone among this community is just absolutely phenomenal. I do just want to let the audience know that you can learn more about Jason's experience in this program in his blog post, which will also be featured. I believe we'll put a link in the chat. And you can also learn more about Vicki's professional journey specific to NGIL with the video as well. And huge thanks to both of you, Vicki and Jason, not just for showing up today for this LinkedIn live session, but for showing us what future-ready leadership can look like, for your involvement and your energy throughout the program, and to see really where this continues to take you. And thank you to everyone in the audience who joined us. We hope you walk away more inspired, more connected, and more committed to supporting this next generation of bold and capable and people-powered leaders in our industry. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.